Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
Anyway, so welcome back, everybody. I completely forgot to queue up the stuff like from last week for the intro, but I will do the thank you to the patrons title card at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
thank you to I apologize for the way I sound right now. If it's bad, it's because I have a bit of a cold. I'm on day 2 or 3, so hopefully almost done. Hopefully. Anyway, I didn't realize I just did the OK symbol, which is also now a hate group thing, so I'll cut that out.
That bugs me so much because I use it so often, and it's just meant to be okay. Like, we're good, and like I'm like holding it extra high now, so my hand doesn't tip upside down. I'm like, well,
especially Alex, when you have the Donald Trump hat on that you have on.
Oh my God,
that's what that stands for, right? It's gold.
No,
red hat with gold DT.
Okay, all right. And
I actually don't know what team that is.
It is an alternate for the Durham Bulls.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what's the
This isn't some like undercover shit that I'm trying to make a joke about like Matthew would do.
Yeah. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about idioms that people don't seem to know or misunderstand or whatever. I just wanted something lighter this week. I'm sure next week we'll be diving back into all the awful that's going on in the world, because there's not going to be a break from it, that's for sure. But I just thought that it would be cool to talk about something a little more fun with you guys this week. Idioms. So, and it was funny when I was making the title card for this episode, the thumbnail card, what did I put in there? I threw a couple in there and I was like, oh, that's a good one to bring up. Oh, spill the beans.
Yeah.
Because I had never heard anybody misuse that until Donald Trump did about Ted Cruz's wife. Because spill the beans, as far as I am aware, just means like I'm going to tell.
Let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. And according though maybe Donald Trump didn't mean it wrong, but he definitely like used it wrong in the context of a sentence. And said that he was going to spill the beans all over Ted Cruz's wife, which also, when you're saying his wife is ugly, doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, really doesn't. No.
So I just thought, that we should talk about fun idioms that people get wrong. I have a non-political one that I want to talk about for a second, which is when I was working in at Verizon in Denver. I worked with this guy, real nice guy. And I said something about don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And he knew me pretty well. And so he knew how dirty I can be. And I was out.
He just assumed you made it up.
He assumed I made it up and he assumed it was dirty. And he was like, Mike, there's customers over there. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't say anything bad for once.
For once.
And he was like, that's pretty, it sounds pretty offensive. And I'm like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Sounds pretty. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like,
my relatives were ancient Greeks and they were at Troy.
But it was because, and I guess it's not like a regional thing, but maybe it wasn't a Colorado, although they have
horses in Colorado.
Right.
And I always thought that was funny that don't look a gift horse in the mouth means like looking at their teeth shows if they're good or not, but you're like not being thankful for the gift you're getting by checking to see if it's good.
Yeah.
Especially in front of the person who just gave it to you.
Yeah, in front of the person, right.
It's like going, oh, this is really nice. Let me go check the value on eBay real fast.
Yeah, there's there is one that my mother used to say that is culturally inappropriate now, about being a Native American giver. And I was about to say, growing up in the Northeast, two of you maybe have heard that one before.
Yeah. One was on Seinfeld too.
Yeah, that's true. One that my mother used to describe my brother, it's actually his nickname, is a political one. It's mugwump. And it is also specifically Native American in its history. It is a fence sitter or someone that, won't commit. And the idiom is described as your mug or head on one side and your rump or ass on the other side of a fence. So these folks that say, I'm an enlightened centrist. I'm like, so you're a mugwump.
Yeah. So it's a fence
Tim
sitter,
Pool.
just a weirder way of saying fence. Or
Yep, exactly. It's a weirder way of saying fence sitter. Yeah, exactly. Tim Pool. I liked when Tim Pool's dad went on like a lot of media, and he's like, I don't know how he turned out like this because I'm not crazy. I enjoyed when even his dad was like, yo, we didn't do that to him.
Tim Pool is, so a little side tangent, but it will come into play, I guess.
As opposed to those central tangents.
Yeah, as opposed to the ones that we normally practice here.
Tim Pool is to me the example that you can fool some people into thinking you're smart just by enunciating. Because nothing that he has a fairly good vocabulary and he enunciates, and that is all the intelligence I can give him credit for.
Okay.
He
says
the dumbest shit, but he says it with good words, and he says the words clearly.
And
so one of my favorite political ones that I could spin off from fooling people, George W. Bush's classic. I'm going to read it so I get it right. There's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again."
Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys seen the Chris Rock bit about one bad apple?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, I know that suddenly I write about like, yeah, it spoils the bunch. People forget that. So I must have seen it. I'm assuming that's what it is. I must have seen it, but then I don't really vividly remember it. I just suddenly had a vision of him saying people forget the second half of that.
Yeah. Well, it was specifically in regards to the police, because in the last 10 to 15 years, with the amount of police brutality being police brutality and or killing that is a conversation in our public life, that phrase has almost exclusively become used to describe like cops that kill people, and like, well, that's just one bad apple,
and used dismissively instead of it's supposed to be, you got to get rid of the bad apple because it will ruin the whole bunch.
Spoil the bunch.
And then it eventually has become, it's just a few bad apples. It used to be the original saying is one bad apple will spoil the bunch. Now they're talking about, well, it's just a few bad apples.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge that one has already spread to a few.
Yeah, at that point.
So one of my favorite ones that everyone uses wrong. I mean, like even the handful of people who have, like me, heard it on a podcast and they know it's wrong, whatever, don't use it right. They just don't use it. But my favorite is blood is thicker than water.
Oh.
So what does blood is thicker than water mean?
So blood is thicker than water. I would bet its family is more important than fair weather people in your life.
So that's the normal usage. Yeah, normal usage, stick with your family because blood is thicker than water. But the phrase, the original phrase, and again, I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It was a thing saying people in this brotherhood, that's more important than your relationship with your family, the blood of the womb. It means the literal opposite.
The covenant could be a marriage. Even
no, but it was some kind of
I'm not thinking that's how it was
Templar
used,
or something like that.
No, it sounds real clansy. So, but like it could be applicable to me picking Sarah over my parents in a fight. Like blood is thicker than water in that way.
Yeah, but it's because really it's the blood of the covenant. So it's like it's the promise you're making here today is more important than your family. It's like it's the opposite of what everybody uses it for.
Yeah.
My personal favorite idioms that I would learn were all three of us actually worked with companies that had international offices, two of us at the same one. And some of the ones that our European coworkers would use would be fantastic. And usually when directly translated, they meant absolutely nothing.
Like every Yiddish joke my grandfather told.
Or
translate
one of my
the punchline, it never makes sense.
Ones. Yeah.
Oh, and they would sometimes get a kick out of our American ones. What was the one? Oh, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Mm-hmm.
And
couldn't make sense to him. They're like,
no, but he loved it.
Meaning my
I used to have to translate. I had a manager,
wow.
Mike knew, Wendy, who is super Southern. She's from
gooch.
Butner. And she's just like, she had never left the country until we worked at a French company and went to France. Like she had never left America until that first business trip.
Super nice lady.
She's awesome. She was a great manager. She was my manager twice. She was a manager at Glaxo 15 years ago. And then she was my manager. I helped her get a job at BMRU. And then she got promoted up because she was, had been a director, took a job just to have a job, and then quickly got promoted back up to director. And I worked for her again, which was great. And we almost died together on the side of a mountain. It was lovely. We were coming down the mountain in the Alps drunk and in a van that was just weaving and flying and slipping on ice. And I turned to her and said, "Did you think 25 years ago when we first met, we would die on the side of a mountain in France together?"
Together, right.
But she would use some super Southern phrases all the time on Zoom calls or team chats, whatever, with our French colleagues who could understand the English words, but not the expression.
So I love Southern idioms, but I really worry about using them because I feel like someone's going to be like, that's about slavery, right? And as it is like our northern ones, some of them are.
Speaking of watching Sinners, there's a bunch of really good ones in that. And I enjoy them, and I'm entertained by them, and I love the history of them because a lot of them are food related. But you're right. Like, as a guy with this complexion, I need to not be using things I don't understand.
Yeah. So here's a safe one. I had a manager who is super Southern, and she used to say stuff. And when I worked in animal science, here's an example. She's giving a lecture to non-animal users who need to be in our building. So IT support, janitorial stuff, just groups that have to come in the animal lab. So they'll be around the dogs and the mice, but they're not animal science users, so they don't know what to expect. So it's kind of if you see this, if you hear dogs howling and howling and howling, don't freak out. We have beagles. If you walk in and say, "Who's a good dog?" they all howl. It doesn't mean we're torturing them, kind of thing. And she's like, and here's how, if you see something you think is wrong, we have a way to, send a note, in this little cubby to the veterinary team. She goes, "But that's for things that are not an emergency." And then she says, if you see a dog bleeding out the eyes, tell someone. And to her, bleeding out the eyes is just an expression for something really obvious that you can't miss.
Oh, no.
And they're like, "We have dogs bleeding out their eyes?"
I thought you were going to say that because of the accent, they thought she was saying bleeding out the ass.
No, just a weird thing to say. But she also used to say when she was overworked and confused and just kind of, spinning, she would say, "I was spinning like a hit dog." So that's image
Speaking
of a
of
dog
animals.
clipping the back of a car, clipping the back of a dog and seeing it spin away. That she was spinning like a hit dog.
Oh no.
It's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
One of my favorite misquoted ones that people, this is very, very common, which is, "The customer is always right."
Oh yeah.
Literal
in the matters of
lie.
taste, the customer is always right.
Yep.
Most of them are missing half the quote.
Yeah.
Like almost most of these idioms, I just say you're missing half the idiom.
True.
That's why.
And customers feel empowered by using only that section of it. But hey.
Right.
Yeah.
But then small companies have put that in as a rule. Give them anything, let them return anything. Not only the original rule was just if they want it, sell it to them. Their taste is
If they
right.
want that god-awful, ugly Donald Trump hat, you give them the Donald Trump hat.
Oh, leave Alex alone with his Donald Trump hat.
I'm just.
Hey, so quick quiz. What's the root of all evil?
Money?
No.
No, it's not.
The love of money is the root
love
of all
money.
evil.
Oh, okay.
So it's a thing saying greed is the root of it. It doesn't mean money is, greed is. But
Look at
people
us.
misquote
But
it all
time
the time.
equals money. So is the love of time also the root of all evil?
I don't do square roots and shit. That math is beyond me. I have an English degree.
I haven't worked in how long.
Which is why I know that one,
beyond
because I think it's biblical, but it was in Canterbury Tales.
Yeah.
I think one of the characters had a pendant that said, "The love of money is the root of all evil." And we talked about how people misquote that all the time. They forget the first half. It's don't be greedy. It's not don't have money. It's just don't be greedy.
Yeah.
My biggest pet peeve in the as a skeptic and who tries to avoid using logical fallacies. There's a logical fallacy that the name of it you all know, and people use it all the time, but they use it completely incorrectly all the time, and that is begging the question.
Ah.
So people say begging the question when they mean, this made me think of a question.
Yeah.
You told me that I have one feature you like, which begs the question, what's that feature? And that is not what begging the question means. Begging the question is a logical fallacy where you have a question and an answer, and your answer just references or begs the question.
Back at the question. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like why is
circular logic?
Yes.
Like, why is pizza better than olives? It's like, well, pizza's better than olives because like pizza's better than olives because it's pizza. Like why is a delicious pizza something that what makes a pizza really delicious? Oh, well, you know what? When you have a pizza that's really delicious, it tastes great. Like you didn't answer the question, you just referenced the question in your answer.
Right.
That's what begging the question means. It's a fallacy, and your argument is just restating the question. It's not made you think of a question.
An example of that I always think is funny is, do you remember the ad? This was I think it was like Comcast, and it was probably 15 years ago, and it was a girl saying to a guy, well, nothing on the internet, everything on the internet's true. And he goes, where did you learn that? And she goes, on the internet.
On the internet.
And it's like that, and that is kind of the same thing. And I always thought like, oh, somebody in that writer's room was an atheist for that.
Right.
Ad.
As I say, that's the atheism.
What if we just make it internet instead of Bible?
Yeah. It's like people say, I know the Bible's true because the Bible says it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the inherent word of God.
Right.
It's the inherent word of God, so therefore
because
it's true.
It is. Yup. It is because it is, my man. No, that's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. That is one of my favorite ads from that era. Love that one so much. I'm putting these pictures on my wall. That's not how this works.
Speaking of ads, I saw something that cracked me up, and you gentlemen might be too young for it to be funny to you, but it was funny to me, and I'm going to say it anyway. It was in a Gen X Reddit post. It said, people talk about all the great scientific advancements that have happened in our lifetime, but I think that people don't talk enough about the fact that we eradicated ring around the collar. No, ring around the collar, nothing.
No, I know because I used to have to use it when I did the laundry.
Yeah. So ring around the collar was it was a commercial. It was a catchphrase in a commercial. I don't even remember which detergent. It was some detergent that was like, pour it right on the collar to get rid of those sweat stains. And it was like, they have somebody at work and the person next to them go, oh, look at that, ring around the collar. And they'd be all embarrassed that they had sweat stains on their collars, their work shirts.
Gotcha.
Like white collars.
I think it was
like you don't see commercials about ring around the collar. So
was
clearly
it 70s or 80s?
It was probably both.
Okay.
So
because I remember we had that detergent in our house.
I'm trying to remember which detergent it is. I'm going to Google
Whisk.
Yeah, well, I see an ad from 1971, and I see ads from early 80s, so it went 70s through the 80s.
Yep. We didn't grow up with a whole lot of money, so we had Whisk in the house.
Yeah, Whisk was, I can instead of Tide or some expensive one, use Whisk. And Whisk was good because they go, ring around the collar. Like they tease, ring around the collar. It's a good one.
I like Dreft because it just when we had Logan and we got Dreft, we were doing his laundry before he was born. Like, you wash it once before.
Yeah, that's a dirty kid. His laundry was dirty before he was even born.
Well, we were washing it, and then we were like smelling the laundry as it was coming out of the dryer, and he hasn't been born yet. And I'm like, do we need the kid? Like, this is the smell you want.
That's what baby smell is. It's the detergent that everybody uses.
Yeah.
Logan, if you're listening, you now know you would have been replaced with laundry smell.
If we had smelled the laundry 9 months ago.
God. The next time I see you, I'm going to be like, hey, Tide.
Dreft.
Hey, Dreft.
So we were getting some supplies the other day before the storm, and we saw Dreft, and Sarah goes, they sell it in pods now. And I'm like, I don't think
that's
we can walk around smelling like that. Like, I love that smell, but I don't think we can.
I like that smell so much that I want to have it in a easy to pop snack size.
I will say that like smells. Oh, Logan says I lived with laundry smell. You know how
that's our little nickname for you, Mike. Logan, I call you laundry smell.
Yeah. So you know how smell is one of our most sense-based, memory-based senses, and like it's the most transportive sense in a lot of ways. other than a couple of food smells, all of my favorite smells would be weird if I went and got them outside of their context. So like, I love the smell of gasoline. I like the smell of Dreft baby detergent.
Okay.
I love the smell of the fiberglass resin, because my dad used to work with fiberglass, and he would take breaks and come out of the like separated garage, and I'd get a big whiff, and then we would play basketball in the driveway together. And so like
these all sound like normal things. I don't understand what you mean by like removing it from its location.
I can't like go get like a Yankee Candle of fiberglass resin.
Oh, sorry. These are not scents that are manufactured for other people's pleasure.
Like I love the smell of tar. Like sometimes I remember when I used to go play disc golf in this one course, there was one. It was one of the holes went past like the baseball field at the park, and the bottom of like the telephone poles, the light poles would have tar on the bottom of the poles. Mm-hmm. That smell reminds me of tar they use on the poles supporting the boardwalk at the ocean in Brighton Beach in Brooklyn, where my grandparents lived. So when I would walk past that hole specifically of the golf course, of the disc golf course, that smell of the tar would remind me of visiting my grandparents at the beach, because that smell was on the wood planks there.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where those smells, like anybody else would be like,
yeah, it's not because the smell, it's the memories. Like mothballs. If you had a grandparent who had a house that smelled like mothballs, you like the smell of mothballs. If you didn't, you don't like the smell of mothballs.
Yeah, and that's like I've been with people and gotten the whiff of fiberglass resin, and people are like, ugh, and I'm like, delicious.
Yeah, what the hardest thing about smelling mothballs really is, though? Getting your nose between those little legs.
Logan, you still listening?
You can use that one, Logan. That's age appropriate for him to take to school.
That's good.
That's an age appropriate one.
I mean,
for the boys, not for the girls.
Not for school, but for like when you're hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, your school friends and like during English class,
or when you're playing video games online, because that's the kind of stuff y'all still shout at each other.
Yeah. The other one like that for me is crap, I forgot. There was one that I had sent up for a second and it went away. Oh well.
Hey, as long as you don't smell a rat amongst the three of us, we'll be good.
So okay, Logan did come back. So I was about to tell my story because I thought he was gone. Which one? Oh, the mothballs joke, Logan. Did you not hear it? If you didn't hear it, I'll tell you later. Anyway, are there any of these idioms that you were using wrong for like a long period of time, and then, or
the blood is thicker than water for sure.
Oh yeah.
You want to hear the Logan had asked in the chat, idiot or idiom? So Logan, buddy, I used to run a comedy troupe called Raleigh's Village Idiots. So there was a thing in the Idiots where one time my older brother he pulled me and my younger brother together at my grandmother's like funeral, or the weekend of my grandmother's funeral, and said, there was a time when we were kids, and Jeremy's favorite baseball player, my younger brother's favorite baseball player, was Lee Mazzilli, and probably Alex's least favorite baseball player. People hated him up in Boston, but he played for the Mets, played for the Yankees. Jeremy loved him when he was a Met. Lee gave him, when we were kids, a 1979 Lee Mazzilli card. It was his first year on the Mets. So he gave him a card from the first year on the Mets. And then one day they had an argument over something stupid, and Jeremy ripped it up in front of him because he was so mad at Lee. He's like, I don't even want this card. And of course, argument went away, and Jeremy was distraught that he had ripped up the card just to make a meaningless gesture. So Lee pulls out 3 copies of a Lee Mazzilli 1979 baseball card, and he hands in card protective plastic. And it's not a super rare card or anything. It wasn't his rookie year; just was his first year with the Mets. Gives us each one. He goes, now we all have one, and just remember, no matter what happens and what fights we have, blood is thicker than water. So never rip Lee Mazzilli. So I bring up the idiots because the idiots, when we'd be warming up for shows, we'd have this one call and response time for in jokes and stuff just to get our energy up. and someone would invariably yell, "Blood is thicker than water," and everyone would go, "Never rip Lee Mazzilli." It just became one of our things.
I like that. Never rip
So
Lee
it's one of those things that
Mazzilli.
when you hear "blood is thicker than water," in my head, I hear "Never rip Lee Mazzilli" as the next line that comes out.
No, that's pretty good. I had a hard time understanding why you would not pronounce or write the word bum instead of bud in nippet. I'm like, wait, you're literally talking about a butt, so why is it not bum? Why is it bud? Bud doesn't make sense. A bud is ahead of something, if anything. So I wrote it. I spelled it wrong. I said it wrong for probably 2 decades. That was my easy, messed up one.
I've got a couple words that I mispronounced for a while till people called me out on them.
I still do because I'm from Brooklyn. That's why it's my excuse.
Well,
no,
no.
You
like,
pronounced them correctly.
I fully got like letters wrong. Like this wasn't like an accent thing.
That's the thing. I do radiator. What's the right way to say that? I don't know. I don't care. I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh,
that's my thing.
Yeah,
I don't know
when
what the
I
right
give
one
you
is.
the first example, you're going to laugh and you're like, "Oh, that's not what you were talking about at all." When I was like 16, I said something about menopause, and my friend's mother goes, "It is not a meadow. I can assure you that."
If you just want to relax for a little while,
I like that. That's good. That's good.
And then you start getting into ear corns, or eggcorns. Eggcorns. Start getting into eggcorns.
Yeah.
The words that people have heard wrong so long, it becomes right. Like in the South, people say old timers disease when they mean Alzheimer's disease. And it just started as a misheard thing, but it makes sense. So it's used commonly. It's not even wrong anymore. It's just a nickname.
Yeah.
And like the name of this, it's an egg corn because people misheard acorn, thought it was egg corn, but it is shaped kind of like an egg. So
it is.
People call it that. It fits. It works. It's become more than just a mispronunciation.
I think Valentine's Day is almost like that too, because like what time of the month of February is that? It's Valentine's Day. Well, that's definitely a down here thing. That's not a me thing.
Yeah, I have not heard that. That's a Mike thing.
You've never heard that? Like
no.
Logan,
or just never
when Logan was in daycare, all the daycare teachers who were all Southerners were like, "It's Valentine's Day, y'all," and I'd be like,
"Oh, TIMES."
Maybe I didn't pick out the mistake just in the Southern. I just
right
corrected it. So let me tell you about my coworker Rob.
Sure,
Rob. I started a Twitter account inspired by this guy John and Rob. The two of them blended, created a Twitter account. And let's not say my fake names on the pod.
Sorry,
I use those names.
I get mail in that name.
But it was a different part of it. That Martin was covered as a name I used for the email, but to go with that. But whatever. But it was just like a misheard things, and the things I heard in the office was the kind of the gag. But he said things like, "I'm hedging on the fence about that."
Oh,
what is that? And one of my favorites, we can start anytime you want. Just tell me and we'll pull the plug on it.
I kind of
how that works.
There's some of those. There's some of those that I do like, though. Like, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. I actually think is awesome. What was the one I used one last week? Or I screwed up something. Yeah, I sometimes I like them, but I
love it.
Yeah, and that's not the same, but someone else in the office walking by my office. We advertised in magazines, and someone said, "How often does Newsweek come out again?"
Well, to be fair, and Jon Stewart used to always talk about how he's on a show called The Daily Show that only comes out 4 days a week.
That's true. Yeah, well, it's a comedy. It wasn't Newsweek.
True.
Yeah.
I can't tell if he's paying attention or not still, so I'm gonna just go ahead and shoot my shot with this. So this isn't really an idiom, but it's like an idiom in the like last 10 years. Like it's become a saying. It's one of those things.
Okay.
Where, post nut clarity.
Oh yeah.
So he just retracted something, so he is listening. I Yeah, it was second. So I thought
just talking about the joy of eating pistachios.
Yes.
I'm clear about that.
I really like pistachios. I'm Italian, so of course I like pistachios.
You have a nice big nut sack over there, Matthew.
That is a giant nut bag.
Yeah,
it's a little salty though.
Yeah. So anyway,
it looks fairly like nice and smooth. There's no wrinkles.
So I was using that phrase to mean, after you're done, you just have mental clarity. Mm-hmm. And that is not what that phrase means.
No, it's more like losing the beer goggles.
Yes. And I did not know that. And Logan says I'm still listening till the end of time. I did not know that, and I made several references to like Sarah, about Sarah, to you guys and to other people, and I'd be like, and I was like,
and I had a moment of, oh, did you?
I was able to finally finish the Rubik's Cube, and not realizing that meant like a completely different thing, and that I was low-key shitting on my wife.
The ugly lights at the club is one that I usually think of. It's like, oh yeah, and then they turn the ugly lights on, and I said it to a girlfriend at the time, and she was like, "That's freaking rude," and I was like, "No,
dude, I'm hoping to get out before the lights get turned on. That's my goal is to get someone to take me home first." And
then because I grew up in the Northeast,
never turned me off, so.
So another one that people use wrong-ish all the time, or not 100% wrong, but like they stop too early, is the early bird gets the worm.
So
the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese, which is kind of the exception to the rule. It's saying both things are true. Is what it's not meant to be an absolute that you should always be early. It's like sometimes you should. Being early is good, but sometimes being second is good too.
Sometimes being second
it has its own balance. It's a balanced statement, and people leave that part of the balance off. And a lot of people have heard it. But they feel like it's not. You're misquoting if you just quote the first half.
You know what?
Taking it out
I
of
like how you just brought up balance statement, because a lot of idioms, their basis is a first half of a balance statement that serves a specific purpose.
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
People tell kids winning isn't everything. But it's the only thing.
But it's the only
that's
thing.
The quote. It's a football quote.
Yeah. And it's actually funnier when you hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
E equals.
I like that.
What does E equal?
I don't know.
MC. Hammer.
So because my initials are MC, I had my 5th grade history teacher made fun of me in front of the whole class because my signature is always like the big M, Eichel, and then the big
MCO,
C.
MCOA.
And so she said, Mike wants me to know that his initials are MC, like MC Hammer. That's why he writes his initial, like why his signature is and I'm like, no, because when you learned on the chart that had like a full line and a half line. So my M is big and my ICHAEL is little, right? And she totally just blew up my spot in front of the whole class.
Does teachers not
MCOA
spot? I think I just used wrong. So,
you definitely used blow up your spot incorrectly. That is true. Well, no, I think that's an appropriate usage.
Yeah. Oh my God, this isn't the same thing exactly, but I did see something today. It was millennials or Gen Z when they're trying to tell their children about like a death in the family, and it was like
it was a great comic book.
Grandma's cooked, grandma's cooked low key. And they just were using all the phrases, and they were like, grandma,
See, in a comedian's house, the way you would say that is in like a family like mine where comedy was king, you'd say grandma's on the roof.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Did you grow up? Do you guys know that story? So the story is a guy goes on a vacation,
like
Fiddler, right? No, a guy goes on vacation, and he's on vacation, and he calls home to his brother, and his brother goes, has vacation. He's like, great. He goes, yeah, I just want to tell you your cat died, man. It's like, what? He goes, I just want to tell you, your cat died. He goes, well, don't just tell me that like that. I'm on vacation. You just ruined. I have a 2-week vacation ahead of me. You just ruined the whole thing. So what am I supposed to do? He goes, I don't know. Like, tell me the cat got out of the house. And then, like, when I call in a couple of days, say, oh, we're still trying to get the cat in the house. We've seen him, but we haven't gotten him yet. And then next time I call, say, oh, he's up on the roof, and then next time I call, you say, oh, he fell off the roof. And at least I'll be ready for it. It won't be such a shock. God, I can't believe you. What else is going on? He goes, well, Mom's on the roof.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's an old joke, but it's used around our house often. Like literally, I'd come home, my dad, like some older relative would have died, and my dad would say they're on the roof, and that's
I like that.
Our nice classless way of saying they died.
Every once in a while, I get into these algorithms on YouTube where it just feeds me like Don Rickles and style comedy on Johnny Carson. And this isn't Don Rickles, but it's usually Don Rickles that gets fed to me. This is Walter Matthau. And it was amazing. He goes, Walter Matthau comes out. He's sitting next to Jack Lemmon, and he says to Johnny Carson, "My wife told me not to tell any toilet jokes." Yeah.
I know it's a classic.
And Alex doesn't know it though. So
yeah, go ahead.
So he goes, "Yeah, she told me not to tell any toilet jokes, but right before I came out here, one of the guys told me a toilet joke, and he goes,
I think I could do this one. I think that sounds okay."
Do it, yeah. And he goes, so, there's these three guys at a bar, three old guys at a bar. And the first one goes, I wish I could take a number one. I just need a really good, steady number one, like a nice, stream.
Some pressure.
Yeah. The second one, Sarah just texted, is it okay for Logan to watch the podcast?
We're listening to a toilet joke right now.
Yeah.
I'll talk while Mike's texting. So the second guy goes, I just wish I could take a number two. I haven't had a good one that really cleans you out in a long time. I would just like to take a good number two, You ready, Mike?
Yep. So then they
pick up a number three.
The third one goes, I have I'm like clockwork. Every morning at 7:30, I take a number one, and it is like a river. It works. It is like smooth.
I am a racehorse.
Yeah, it comes out. And then 7:35, I have a number two, and it's amazing. And it's like Mount
St. Helens
erupting, and it's like perfect. And then the other.
So why are you complaining?
Because I wake up at 9.
My favorite part about that is when Walter, before he even starts the joke, he's talking to Carson. Carson says, "Don't." We're not allowed to tell any toilet jokes on this show. Don't.
Yeah.
All you hear is, and because the camera's not on him, it's on Walter Matthau, you just hear from his side, "Don't."
So Sarah texted me and she goes, Logan came down and said that he's learning some new things. So that's why I'm asking. And I said, oh, that's because Matthew just told him to say that.
It's still true.
Yeah.
We exist here to make your kid give you a hard time.
You learned about some new idioms and how to use them properly.
Got it.
I did not hear either of you completely because
you can separate the tracks later.
True. Yeah.
So here's my wife's beef as an Indian with with idioms. When she was like in first or second grade, she had a teacher whose favorite way to teach vocabulary was to give you idioms with using all synonyms, and you had to know it. So she would say, when the feline absconds, the rodents make merry.
The cat is away.
The mice will play.
Have you never heard that expression? Like she knew all the words.
I was about to say, like, this doesn't work for her.
So she would say, when cats leave, mice are happy. Because she knew what the word, and she'd get it wrong. But she's having to guess an expression that she's never heard because her parents are Indian and don't use those expressions.
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
They speak English fine. They were professors, but they don't use American, especially American. They would have learned British English in India.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
There's two guys that I really like on Instagram. They're brothers, and they do a movie podcast where they're all movie games.
So that's Cinnamon. I've seen it.
No. This is Kaiser Boys. Kaiser
Boys sound like Nazis.
And I think it's their last name. They're really awesome.
They sound like buns.
Anyway,
rolls.
Anyway, they do a game that is basically that with movie titles, and not with movie titles, with movies. So they'll say, Forrest Gump and Santa Claus have to Forrest Gump has to go save Santa Claus after he's been taken to
it's Toy Story.
Toy Story, exactly. So you pick
like swapping out the roles.
Yeah, which is essentially the same game but with movies, and I love it watching it because I'm about 50%, and these guys are like 90% of all their games they get. I'm like, this is amazing.
But, Marvin and I like doing like different quizzes that are on YouTube. You'd be like, science fiction quizzes, movie quizzes, guess the movie from scene. And sometimes there's the guess the movie from the bad description.
Oh, and I love those.
I think the hardest thing about that is they're hard to write them because some of them just suck. Like that was a stupid clue. So it's a really hard one to write the clues really well. But when they're done well, they're really fun.
Yeah. I've started using that when I'm talking to people about misinformation. I'll say like, well, you can tell somebody a story like Fox News does that essentially, right? Like the
they
Fox
play
News version
with the headlines.
Well, no, not even like changing like because my mom came to me a couple of years ago and was like, I heard this story and on Fox News, I'm like, that doesn't sound remotely real. And when I found it out, it was like, it is like everything is so close but so off. So it would be kind of like me saying like this girl kills a woman and then goes on a hunt to hunt down her sister and viciously kill her sister as well.
Yeah, it's
and
a classic.
My mom was like, my mom's like that sounds like a real movie. I'm like, it's the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
But like, it doesn't sound like sweet.
There's a guy on TikTok who does like a video with himself, but like where he like comes to the bedroom door and goes, hey, do you want to watch a movie about? And he goes, this woman who goes to a foreign country. At first she does is kill one of the leaders. She's described, he does that. And then like he's doing the voice of himself, like in the closet, getting something out of the closet, like it responding, no, that sounds terrible. And it's a kid's movie. What? He goes, and then he goes to his phone, play Wizard of Oz. Yeah. He does them all the time. And he does a great job with them. He does them really well.
There's a guy that does, it's not exactly the same thing, and I love these too, which is he'll start describing a movie, and then the other version of him will be like, I need more information. And so you think it's Star Wars or whatever, and then he's like, and there's a dark figure who is the
it's like you describe everything, it sounds like Star Wars, and it's Dune because you can describe them exactly the same way.
And
but usually even cross genre, you can still do it some things.
Right. But like, and it's not super generic. Like sometimes you're like, oh no, like he's absolutely trying to make us think it's this thing, and then you find out and you're like, oh, it was Toy Story 2, or
like it's 100% the movie you think, but it's 90% this other one, like just using terms you wouldn't normally use. But like you do that, like describing Avatar, and you're really talking about Fern Gully because it's the same stupid story.
Yeah. Have you seen the new one?
The new Fern Gully? No.
The new Avatar.
No.
Sarah wants to see it because she's like, here's the thing.
I like the first sequel. Okay.
So, I actually liked the first sequel better than the first movie because I did not like the first movie. I also think that the bad guy is one of the worst actors in that series. Like I cannot take him at all. I can't do it. And he was in the second one less. So that was helpful. But Sarah was like, I want to see the third one in theaters because I don't want to watch it otherwise. And I was like, yeah, but like that's because it's just spectacle.
Yeah, which is a fine thing for something to be.
Oh yeah.
But that's the kind of thing like me. Like I will only go to the movies to see science fiction or other action adventure. Like if it's not better on a big screen, I'll see it on my 82-inch screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need a giant screen unless I need a giant screen.
I'll see it on my 82-inch screen in my living room.
Well, I'll say the 82-inch screen is specifically because of COVID. My TV had a picture tube problem. Oh, not a picture tube anymore. But like it had a blue line down it that was broken. Like
it was
annoying.
Picture tube problem.
Yeah, whatever it is. And so it needed to be replaced eventually. And then COVID hit. And when they announced that Wonder Woman would be on streaming and Dune would be on streaming and Ghostbusters, everything was going to be streaming, I said, you know what? What's the biggest TV we can put in this room without it being too big? Like what's the size I can go to that works for my room? And so we got the biggest thing that we can get and put it on the wall. And my dad and I had a big fight about how high to put it because I wanted to put it higher and he wouldn't let me. He made it put it basically almost the level it would be if it was on a stand instead of on the wall. And then after like a week, I'm like, yeah, he's right. This is the right level.
Yeah, it
would
is.
have been hurting our neck if it was higher. Like he was definitely right.
Speaking of picture tubes, we watched the episode 1 of the Mel Brooks documentary on HBO.
So did I. Watch episode 1 and half of episode 2.
We didn't start episode 2
Joseph
yet.
and I watched it when the other night when Molly and Leah were out seeing the monks, but then they called me to pick them up, so we had to stop.
Holly and I went to go do that.
Yeah. It's a lot of interviews we've already seen, like cut up and being placed in, but there's a lot that we haven't also.
Right.
Like, it's a good balance of, I love this story, and I haven't heard this story.
I like, too, when there's a couple times when Mel Brooks tells the same story over and over again, so they cut to him doing the, like, and then Cary Grant was, this and this, and like it just cuts.
There was a little window, and it sits. He's a reach through the window.
3 different interviews of him telling the same story, and he would cut it like almost like a like
and then you got to say, is his memory going, or was he lying this time or this? Like he told it slightly different. You're like, is he getting the quote wrong, or was he lying at some point? And this is a more accurate one.
Yeah.
But I thought what was really great about that interview, this is so tangent for our show, it's not related at all, was like in his first movie or two, it was like, I'm being funny. I don't know if a message, I'm being funny. And then by the later ones, it was, I wanted to deal with racism, so I made this movie. Like he went from, I'm just trying to get a laugh, that's all I care about, to, now that I can do that, now I have a message I want to do. I have social issues I want to look into.
So we were watching it, and at first Logan wasn't really interested. I'm like, this is like one of the top 5 funniest people of all time.
Yeah. And more importantly, that he's a good dude, direction comedy went in America. Like, he's one of the most influential people. Like, not just him personally funny. Like I say about Al Franken, people don't think about Senator Franken, but he was a head writer on SNL for 20 years. Like, the way that comedy went was so much influenced by him. But but Mel Brooks, like, how many movies are based on Mel Brooks movies?
Yep. Yeah. So we were talking about that with Logan, and he was not that interested at the beginning. And then at one point, like, Mel Brooks tells a joke and he goes, "That's the first time I've laughed." And I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy. But then we were talking, and so I don't know if I've told you guys this story. Sorry, on the podcast before, but
Logan killed that guy.
Yeah, the drifter. Logan, I've heard this. Sarah's grandfather, maternal grandfather, was one of the cameramen on the Ed Sullivan Show, I don't remember all the details, and she's saying yesterday that he was from the very beginning, which maybe she's right. I didn't remember that prior when her mother had told us the story, but so Sarah's mother was in 1964. Sarah's mother was 16 years old. And her father was going to work to be, he was the cameraman on the Ed Sullivan Show. And he said, "Hey, tonight there's going to be this band on. And if you want, you can come with me to work." And she said, "What's the name of the band?" And he goes, "The Beatles." And she goes, "I've never heard of them. I'll skip." And that was, and I was like, Logan, you don't understand. This is one of the most famous moments in television history, and in pop culture history. And Mama was like, I don't know, which is 100% something I would do. I could see Sarah doing it, like being like, "I've never heard of them," just like not having your finger on the pulse at all. And like, I loved that story. She used to like laugh when she would tell the story.
So the opposite story was listening to the
Matthew,
CD of
your voice is real garbled. Are you hearing it too, Alex?
Yeah.
Like real
give his internet a second to catch up.
Or maybe just like turn your mic off and back on again or something. I don't know.
And mute and unmute. Did that tell you anything?
No, still scratching.
Oh, weird. I don't know what to do besides, crash the entire system. If I do anything drastic, you can't change microphones or anything, so it'll just crash everything if I do anything to fix.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end. Just deal with it.
I mean, like, it's really bad.
You kind of sound like you're going to accept my harvest.
Okay, so no more vaccines for anyone.
yeah, clearly.
Did that come through?
And they're going to do. Did I hear you say earlier that you're going to start doing tests on Papua New Guinea or whatever?
No, I'm paying some Danish people to do that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I don't know enough about science. I just know I want to kill people.
And what do you think about President Trump's health?
I really don't think I don't know how he's still alive.
He's the strongest person I've ever filleted.
Nice.
The force with which he knocks me across the room when he arrives,
Yeah.
powerful. Number 3.
Don't tell
he does
Cheryl.
Number 3.
That's one of my favorite lines. Don't tell Cheryl. I didn't have all my beef tallow today. Don't tell Cheryl.
Oh, ever since he started talking about beef tallow, it's probably been at the grocery store the whole time. But every time I see it, I'm like, is that here because of RFK?
Yes. Yes. It has been a big deal for a long time, but it got mainstream because this dude talked about it. And what's crazy is it's been in the Hispanic section of the grocery store for decades, but it just doesn't have a cool wrapper and doesn't say tallow. It says manteca. It's the same thing. It's animal fat. It's lard.
Yeah.
Well, close.
Matthew,
close
I'm going to take your duties so that you don't have to you don't have to be garbled.
I like how
I take a duty at 7:35.
But the problem is,
but you wake up at 9.
Go ahead, talk about the video.
All right. So if you are watching us live, that makes you Logan, basically. If you're not watching us live, please give us a like, a subscribe, comment in the video. Tell us about a idiom that you have said wrong or that you find annoying when other people say wrong. Tell us all about it. Ring the bell. He's going to become Carrot Top over there. Ring the bell, and so that you can ring a ding ding, so you can get alerts as to when we're going live. Because sometimes we don't go live at Mondays at 6:30. Sometimes we. You look more like Howard Stern, maybe.
He really does look like Stern, dude. Robin, what you're going to tell me is,
I always find it crazy that guy is interviewing Hillary Clinton now and stuff. Like, it's like, how did we get from there to here? But yeah, so give us a ring and on the bell, a like, a subscribe, comment,
a follow on Twitch.
Follow on Twitch. Yeah, if you're watching on Twitch, or if not, if you prefer to watch on Twitch, I will throw it up on. I'll throw up the Twitch link.
We are fine with the purple platform, just like the red one. Whatever you like to watch on.
And if you're listening to the podcast, give us a like, a review, whatever on your podcast. I'm getting there, Matthew. I'm getting there. Give us a whatever you can on there. And if you want to give us money, you can go on to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff, and we have 4 options there. $0 to just get it in a different way, $1 to get it early, $3 to get extra, and $10 gets you our pre-show convo. And that's it. And that's a great way. These are per month. These are not per episode. So like when we talk about $10,
it's a good value.
$2.50 an episode. When we talk about $1, we're talking about 25 cents an episode. And keep in mind, if you've been listening to this episode, you know that I have a 9-year-old who. He's 9 and he would like to eat sometimes. So I'm going to lay it on thick and say, like, you could help feed my son. Yeah. And so anyway, I will just, since Matthew can't do his normal thing, I'll just say we want to thank you for talking about the big things. And then I'll just let it go for a minute so that Alex can start saying something and I can hit stop.